All right, I think a few more people are popping in and then we are going to get going. All right, so question, and if for those who weren't here yet, I just want to, this is intended to be interactive. I would, as much as I love to hear myself talk, like I'm here to help y'all with your database, and I'm excited about that. It's one of the things that I'm most passionate about in this business. And so the more interaction we have, the better this is going to be for everybody, and the more that y'all are going to get out of it. Let me, okay. So by a raise of hands, how many of you feel like you have a good system in place for your database? Like you have your contacts in your database and you're touching your database consistently? Put it at, how about for yes, put a 1 in the chat box, and for we're not quite there yet, 2 in the chat box. If we aren't going to come off camera. All right. Are y'all ready to learn about how to have an effective database, how to start touching it, how to just start? The important thing is starting. Sometimes people get caught up in having like a perfect system before they actually get started. And so today, it's really about the basics of getting your database together and how to just start, how to start touching your database. I did forget to introduce myself. So for those of, there's a lot of people from KW Vaca Valley. For those of you that don't know, I am Mindy Jenkins. I am an ALC member from KW Vaca Valley. I have been an agent for almost 4 years, and I have a small but mighty team, MJ Realty Group, and I am excited. I'm also a business maps coach, and I am excited to be here today and help you guys with your databases. So the goal of this Spark of Ignite is really to get your first appointment in 30 days. And so the goal is to really work on building your database, practicing your scripts, and contacting, prospective clients, and really getting to know your market over the next few weeks. So we're going to work on building some core activities over the next few weeks while you guys are going through the Ignite process. All right. There are 2 pieces to what agents do to run a successful business, and success leaves clues, right? So we know exactly what successful agents do every day. And agents do 2 types of activities. They do activities to grow their business and activities to run their business. And the goal of our time is to model what successful agents do every day and for you guys to learn how to do it. The skill that we're going to focus on today in our session is to lead generate for buyers and sellers. Understanding the importance of your database, and we want to learn how to take advantage of your sphere of influence, and which allows you to launch and grow and run your business. All right. Who wants to take a stab? Maybe come off mute, talk about what is a database?
That's where the money is.
It's true. Database is where the money is. So today we are going to work on setting up your database, how to feed it, and how to feed it in a 1-hour session. So we're going to learn what a database is, why you use a database, and develop your database. And then we're going to recap some ahas. And then after this, the goal is that you guys are going to script practice, lead generate, update your contacts and follow up, and do some contract practice as well. establishing, okay, so who feels that they have an effective database that they use consistently in their business already? Raise of hands, or, put a thumbs up or in the box, in the chat box.
I use my database daily, but I don't think I do it effectively.
Okay. What is, when somebody thinks about having their database and what they would do with their database, what are your guys' goals around your database?
To get business.
I'd like to be able
to help families.
Okay, so I heard get business out of it, to help families.
I want to use my database to effectively put in like use the drip campaigns and stuff to use like Connect and everything to bring all that together. So use the leverage of the technology.
Yeah, absolutely. Your database, especially if you thoroughly use Command, can create so much leverage for time and even money in your business when you use it the right way, with smart plans and the drip campaigns and things like that. And ultimately, your database, when you put a system with your database, it's going to help you be in relationship with the people in your database so that they know, like, and trust you and want to do business with you. People do business with people that they know, like, and trust. And if they don't know, like, and trust you because you aren't in touch with them, they're most likely not going to do business with you. So the goal of your database is to create a system around it so that you can be in relationship with the people in your database. How many people how many people feel like they are in relationship with 200 people in their database that would know, like, and trust them and want to do business with them?
I don't even have 200 people in my database, period.
Okay. We're going to talk about that today.
Yeah, I have a thing. I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's the thing I want to be able to use my database for. It's more, I understand it's there for tracking and using and getting information out and nurturing and everything else, but I know there's a way to do it, and I just want to learn how to do it for it to hold accountability for me, so that I contact certain people, maybe on a 555 or whatever, but show me like, okay, unless I write it down, I know there's a way for it to like go to the next 5 or whatever, and I'm not quite sure on how to figure that out. I seem like I'm contacting the same exact people weekly. It's only the same 10, 15 people, not the full database that I do have.
And we're going to talk about some strategies around that today.
Yeah, one way that I have an issue with is making sure I get all my contacts into my database, because I'll talk to contacts and stuff, and then I find the Kelly app or the Command app to be kind of useful to be able to get that stuff in there. But then adding the tags and whatnot to get them into the smart plans and stuff, it's still a little bit more challenging because it's not very organized. So I think that it's important to get those tags and identify where you are with each contact in that database, so you can totally organize that through those campaigns. So for me, instead of having it on a paper or a business card, or even an email and a text, it's important to at some point, maybe daily, hopefully daily, moving them from that hard copy or whatever it is, that text, into the actual database and be able to use it effectively. So that
Absolutely. I think and today we're going to go through some of these things, and what I want is at the end of this class is if we haven't answered all of your questions, I want to make sure that you feel like you have some time to ask some questions about how to effectively touch your database or systems or best practices that maybe some people use on, just like what you were talking about, Robbie. I think it was Robbie. I couldn't tell totally. Because when you're the host, you know, when you have your screen share and you only get to see a few people, like if you feel like you still at the end of today are like, I don't have clarity around a system on how to put people in my database every day. Like I want to make sure that we have some time at the end of today so that I can make sure that you feel like you walk away with some really good takeaways and action items that you can implement right in your business today. Okay. So how many of you guys throw a 5 in the chat box if you've ever heard the size of your database determines the size of your database?
Mindy, you broke up on that on my end. I'm not sure if it was for everybody else. Can you repeat that question, please?
Yeah. How many of y'all have ever heard the size of your database is the size of your data bank?
You're the first.
Okay. What do y'all think that means?
Kind of relates back to what I said. Your database is where the money's at.
Mm-hmm.
Your database is your business.
It is your business. Are you guys, does everybody have their participant guide?
Yeah.
Okay. If you are on page 3, you'll want to, we're going to give you guys about 5 minutes to draft responses to the questions independently first, and then we're going to discuss the responses. It says in small groups, but I think we'll take, Abigail, are we prepared to do small groups or are we just going to do it all together? I'll just maybe take some ahas from everybody after, or so turn to page 3. I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to go ahead and get going and write down some answers to those questions.
Hey, Mindy,
Yes.
I'm almost embarrassed to ask this, but where can I get the guide?
In the chat box, Selma.
And
There
what?
is-
Oh,
in
in the
the
chat.
chat
Okay.
box, there's a link to, if you scroll up to 905, if you don't have it. Oh, thank you, Abigail.
Got it right here. Thank
Okay.
you.
You're welcome.
Now, this is the same one that's in command, is that correct? The toolkit, or not the toolkit, but the like the Spark number 4. because I don't have access to the link. It doesn't show up on a mobile device. So I believe this is the title of this particular segment is Your Database is Your Business.
Yep,
Is that
yep,
the one? Oh, okay,
correct.
great. Thank you.
All right. So, right, we have some people who has not participated yet, who would like to share what they wrote down for what is the purpose of your database. Please don't all jump at once.
To help grow your business.
Okay, to help grow your business. Anybody else?
Well,
I just-
oh, sorry.
Yeah, I just put down lead generation.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's a way to help monitor and maintain who you've talked to and who you need to talk to and organize yourself with what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, what makes a database valuable? I don't care if you interrupt each other. Let's make it interactive. I don't know if we need to do jumping jacks right now.
This is your business. This is where and how you make your money.
Yep.
I would also
Yeah,
add
same.
that it probably produces your most loyal and, promising leads.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well,
Most
kind of like,
people will find their now business in their database before they find it anywhere else.
yeah,
It
kind of like
also
what,
helps you keep track of who's referring to you. If you're keeping, notes on there and really knowing where all your referrals are coming from, and you can
Mhm.
always refer back to it.
Okay. How about this one? How about number 3, you guys? What other industries use a database for prospecting and marketing?
Anything that involves sales, especially person-to-person sales.
Lenders, loan officers.
Banks,
escrow.
retail stores. I mean, like plumbing and heating and hair places, like every business.
Every business has a database. If they have a business that's worth money, they have a database. Okay. And what makes targeted marketing effective?
Sometimes people have simple thoughts, you got to give them simple direction, like click here on Facebook and point to the arrows or point to where it's at. So with targeted marketing, you're actually targeting the people that want to buy or sell a home.
Mm-hmm. So if I have a farm in my database that's for 55 and up, and then I have my sphere of influence, do you think that I'm going to target my marketing differently for each of those?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yep. Okay. So the Millionaire Database, and this is not the Millionaire Real Estate Database. This is the Millionaire Database. There's 3 different levels of the Millionaire Database. It's the essential, the effective, and the exceptional. We don't start at exceptional. We just got to start, right? Who else is in a place where like I have my contacts in my database, but I haven't started touching them because I'm waiting to have the perfect plan into place to touch them.
I have a huge problem with that. I'll get them in there, and you say that there's there's business you're probably going to get within the next couple of months, and then some people aren't ready for like the next maybe 6, 7, 8 months. So you want a campaign or a smart plan that is connecting with them differently. The idea is to know where they are in their in their quest to buy or sell or whatnot. You want to make sure that you get the right marketing material out to them. But I have a problem with being able to realize exactly where these people are. They get lost in the shuffle.
Yep, absolutely.
Robbie, I can completely relate with that. I may have met somebody on the street. I may have met somebody at an open house. I may have met somebody at a baseball game. I'm finding that I have to write it down. If I don't write it down and put it in the database in somewhere in a note or something where I met them and what that way it kind of triggers that memory. And that's where I'm trying. That's where I'm struggling. I mean, I have a small database, but it's the management of the database that one thing I love about Command. I know it has the ability to keep me accountable, but I'm not utilizing it.
Awesome. Well, we're going to help by the end of this Ignite series that y'all feel real comfortable with your database and utilizing it and all of the different tools that are in there to really be effective in communicating with your database. So, you know, really with a Millionaire Database, as an agent goes on in their career and they are really, when you put your database as your #1 focus and priority in your business, you're going to develop deeper relationships with your leads, with your people, and you're going to have a level of detail that's stored in your database that will help really shape the way their database functions and ultimately transitions you through these 3 different levels. And this kind of goes back to what Robbie was talking about. And it over time, one thing that I guess came to mind when Robbie talked about his database was over time, you will, you won't have all of your tags now, right? Like there will be a time when you have to, you're like, oh, well, this new thing's happening in my business, or I feel like this is really important for me to add this tag or these types of notes to the information that I'm keeping on all of my people. So as you're going through and touching your database, you will start to add new tags as you continue to communicate through your database, and new notes and new different things that you will keep more detail on your people as you go on throughout the process of your database. Okay, so here, let's just talk. Like, here are the essential things, and this is where we're starting: name, contact info, past business and past contact record. And it's more like an at-will communication, that you have a valid and up-to-date method of contact for the person. This is like a way to start reaching out to your leads and communicating with them. And you'll start to see some similarities between your people, and you may create some tags around that or different ways of communicating because of that. Okay. And you know what? Give me 1 second, you guys. We're going to take a quick pause for just 1 second. So if you guys want to go grab a drink or go, you know, potty or whatever, we'll be right back.
If anybody's still on and wants to talk, do you guys have systems of tagging that you already use in your command and database that works well for you?
We tag, so we do DTD2. So when we enter someone into command, we make sure we tag the letters. so that when we're doing our DTD2, it's easier to access those letters when we're trying to get in touch with our people.
Do you put that in a smart plan? To remind
No, that's just, it's a tag. So when we're
okay.
entering info, that's how we tag.
By last name, right? I think I've seen
Right.
that before.
Mhm.
You can create your own tags as well. You can customize it any way that you feel that works for you. Although there, I believe, yeah, there are some that are already there as well.
Yeah, I think
There-
it's helpful. It's
Sorry.
always helpful for me to put a certain color to a tag, and you can have the same color with a different description. So it can be, blue seller, and you can have blue buyers. So that's helpful for me. I just use the colors and tag everybody.
Hey, Tara, I know, Tara, sorry. I know I have one that I use that Amy gave us. I can send it to you if you want, but it really works. It's like color coordinated, and then each color is like, one is like, what's their financing? Yeah, are they a buyer or seller? Where did you meet them? What cities are they looking at or live in? It's really good. It really helps a lot.
Okay, thanks, Heather. Yeah, that'd be cool. Do you write all that out in individual tags?
No, the tags were already, I just created them as I went along, and then you tag people with them. I can show you.
Yeah. How many tags do you put to like one contact?
We were told from like Mindy too, and then from Amy, like as many as you can.
Really?
Because it's the more is better to define them out. Yeah. So you can pull them for different areas.
Thanks for that, Heather. I didn't realize that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Just to have a bunch of different tags, because you can have several different.
Yeah, because you could pull them like if today you're pulling them by like city, or tomorrow you're doing something to your buyers, or the next day you're doing something to people who have FHA loans. It's really easy.
Yeah. So you can have as many tags as you want in command on a person. So I'm a transparent person, y'all. The stomach flu hit my house last night, and apparently it's it's gonna hit me. So we're gonna power through this, and we're gonna get through this. So so I do want to go back to like tagging people, you guys. This is like one of the most important things that you can do, because it helps you effectively tag your people in your database. And like Heather was saying, being able to tag people, whether they're FHA buyer, I also tag people like maybe October 2022, like that's when they said they were going to be ready, and that helps me find the people, and so that certain campaigns or certain things, that templates can go out to those people ahead of time. Okay. So what do you guys think about when you think about obtaining permission from people in your database?
If we set someone up on like a monthly neighborhood market update, do we have to ask for permission to send them that?
No.
Okay. So I think I'm confused on what we need to ask permission. Like what sorts of things do we need permission to?
So, and that's a good question, because I think a lot of people feel this way with that. So what I like to do is with maybe people that are less my sphere, right? But maybe more leads, people that I'm adding to my database because they're a lead. Maybe we've had a conversation about real estate and I want to make sure that I talk to them in the future, whatever that is one of the questions that I will ask when somebody's like, I'm having a conversation, and then you're like, even if they come through an open house or whatever it is, and they say, we're just looking, we're probably really, not going to do anything until next year. And I always love to just say, hey, I'd love to stay in touch and send you properties to keep you updated if this is the neighborhood, like all of the things that you talk about. when I talk about permission, it's more people are going to open your mail because you're in relationship with them. So they feel like they've given you permission to send them the things. Or it's like, maybe you haven't set them up on a neighborhood nurture yet, and you are talking to them and you're like, hey, I have this really great email that I can send out that's personalized to you every month that includes all of the homes that have sold in your neighborhood. Would that be, helpful to you? Would that be informative to you? And most people are going to say yes. And the more that you get, I don't want that consent or that thing where people know you're sending the information. It doesn't mean you have to have permission to send them the neighborhood nurture, but when you get the permission, they're going to look forward to it. They're going to open it and they're going to engage with it. And then, when you're communicating with it, it's really important to like talk about two-way communication, right? Like when we talk about contacting our database, it's two-way communication. When I'm just sending out a newsletter to my database, that's not a contact, right? It's a touch, but it's not a contact.
Okay.
Somebody's not on mute. Hold on.
Come in.
Hey, somebody's not on mute, guys. And it's hard for me to tell with the slideshow up. Okay, so when we talk about being purposeful and consistent with our database or with our leads and our sphere, there's two different things. There's leads, which is like we talk about the 19 to connect, which is the 4 quarterly phone calls. Okay, real quick, raise of hands or put in the chat box a number 1 if y'all are familiar with the DTD2 schedule.
What do you put if you're not familiar with the DT2 schedule? Should we put it 2?
You can go to KW Connect and search DTD2, but if you aren't familiar with it, I will work to try to, by the end of this, to get one uploaded, a link into the box so that you have it. So the DTD2, what it does is it breaks out. So I think, Greg, you talked a little bit about this. It's called call bias. When we talk to the same people in our database over and over and over. Because we're more comfortable with them. And we choose to not talk to the other people in our database for some sort of reason. And it's typically an unconscious bias that we have. And the DTD2, its intention is to get rid of that. So when you couple, like this week's letters are C and K, and when you couple those letters together, it really breaks your database out to where you're touching what should be almost an equal amount of people every single week for 13 weeks, 4 times a year. And it takes away the call bias, because if all you have to do is talk to the people that are C and K, last name C and K in your database, and you don't have to talk to the other people unless you're doing follow-up with them, it means that you're going to talk to the people in your database 4 times a year just by doing that. And that's once a quarter. That's plenty for people you probably haven't been in a relationship with for a long time, right? Okay. And then for people that are contacts, we have, the goal should be well, I didn't finish the leads, the 19 to connect. We want to do 4 touches quarterly, 12 touches like monthly email, newsletter, market report, like the monthly neighborhood nurture, something like that. 2 touches for promotional direct mail, and then 1 touch like an annual event, party, movie screening, or some sort of get together. And then for contacts, the 36 to convert is 4 touches, which is your DTD2, 4 phone calls a year, 26 touches, biweekly email offering of some sort, newsletter, monthly neighborhood nurture, and then 2 touches for events, get-togethers, and parties, which if there's 2 events, you guys, that should be like an additional 10 touches at least. Events are a great way to touch your database 3 to 6 times every time you have an event. And then 4 touches for promotional direct mail, magnet, calendar, magazines, things like that. So the goal is to have relevant conversations, because relevant conversations mean relevant value, and timely conversations mean greater opportunity to convert. Okay. Automated custom communication built around triggers. This is when we have an exceptional millionaire database. Okay, so when we get the basics, and this is the thing, like we don't have to start at 3, guys, we got to start at 1. And once we start at 1, we can move to 2, and then we get to 3. So once we're in a place where we have this and we're communicating and we have the touches in place, now we have ways to automate what's happening in our database, and command makes that so easy. And this is leverage. So before, for some of you guys maybe who don't have assistants, who don't have a team, things like that, this is an easy way to leverage and get time back into your life. You guys, it is totally possible to become a millionaire real estate agent at the first level alone, without an assistant, without a TC, all of those things. The opportunity exists to grow your business through all 3 of these and have an exceptional business in all of these stages. You just have to start. Okay, so we know the 3 levels of a millionaire database now, and now we're going to explore why using a database is key. So, why use a database? So I asked this question earlier, but you know, your database is your bank account, that your data bank, right? It holds the information, and the ROI on your database is going to be bigger probably than any other lead gen source. So I want to do a quick exercise really quick. For those of you who either have your database or your phone, I want to do some calculations really quick. I want you to figure out how many people are in your database or in your phone. If you, I know at least on an iPhone, if you go to your contacts and you scroll all the way to the bottom, it will tell you how many people are in your phone. We want to get all of those people into your database ASAP if they're not in there now. So does everybody have that number of how many people they have in their phone or in their database?
Yes.
Okay. So there's this magic number. So take that, and I want you to multiply it by 0.07.
Take the number of contacts we have.
Yeah, the number of contacts you have and multiply it by 0.07. Everybody have that number? Now I'm assuming everybody
Yes.
had, okay, I'm assuming everybody knows the number of, so that number that you just got is the number of potential, the number of people that statistically will buy or sell a home in the next 12 months. How many people have enough people in their database right now to hit their goal? This is really important. If you put the number 1 in the box, if you have the number of people in your database to hit your goal, and number 2 if you don't. All right, this is awesome, you guys. Clarity is power, right? Clarity is power. So I also want you to take the average number or the average amount that your transaction, like commission would be, like what you would get paid on a commission. And I want you to multiply that by the number of units, the potential units in your database, the number that you came up with. I just did mine and I feel a little sick. How many of y'all are surprised about how much money is sitting in your database right now? I see how they're shaking her head. Yes, Thelma, $112,000. I will tell you, our team has a really big database and I just calculated it out. Awesome, Greg. And our database has $2.8 million worth of potential business in it.
Awesome.
Yes. Okay. Was that a good exercise for y'all to see how much money is in your database right now, your current database? And to see what the potential gap in your database.
Absolutely, it's
Yeah. And to
a
see what
wake-up call.
Yes, and to also see, like, it's really cool to see what's in there and you're like, oh, I have a lot of money in my database. I got to go find that money in my database, right? This is why we work our database. And it's also eye-opening when we have a gap. Like, I got to put more people in my database in order for me to hit my goals. So it helps you put some plans into place to figure out, okay, if I'm going to hit my goals, I need to add another 100 people to my database, right? And now we're clear. Okay, if I'm going to add another 100 people to my database really quick, where am I going to go get those 100 people? Awesome. Thanks for participating, guys. Your database should give you a predictable ROI. And this should give you, when you are touching your database consistently and effective with a system, it should help your business feel less of like this than and more, even if it's flat or slightly inclining, which it should be over time because you're going to add people. It will feel less like a roller coaster when you're consistently talking to your database. All right. Okay. Without a database, you guys, your business is only being built for today, period. If you guys are not using database, you're living for today. Your business is only good today. Okay, can you all write that down so that you remember it? Without a database, your business is built only for today. NAR tells us that, and I just want to read this statistic so that I don't get it wrong. NAR tells us that people move every 10 years. If they are only focusing on people doing business today, they are only focusing on 10% of the business that can be done. With 10 years between transactions, agents who don't leverage your system to stay top of mind and end up experience their clients using different agents. Nobody wants that, you guys. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants the client that they helped close their house in 10 years and 5 years and 3 years to be using a different agent. Stay in touch, use your database. And the more you do it with your clients and you stay in touch with them, the more repeat business you'll have with them and referrals from them. You want to take control of your database because being purposeful, consistent approach to your contacts is how you build the path to your future and how you get, that repeat and referral business. Okay, for example, and this kind of goes back to the exercise I did, so we'll walk through this quickly. These are 100 people in your market. And out of 100 people, 65 are looking to be homeowners and 35 are not. And out of the 65, 58 of those people are off the market. So only 7 people are your today business. Okay. If an agent is working without a database and is only focused on business, today's business, they're focused on finding the orphan, the one who is already not represented by an agent. So the one who their agent doesn't have a follow-up system, that doesn't stay in touch with them, that doesn't have somebody who is, if they were like, I got to move today, they don't have somebody. It's probably 1 out of the 7. That's why we want to use a database. So we want to take control of your database because, like we talked about, out of 100 people, if 7 of them on average are going to buy or sell in the next 12 months, we want to be the Colgate or Crest, right? We want to be the Ford or the Dodge or the, I was trying to come up with another example and all I could come up with was Colgate.
Pepsi and Coca-Cola.
Yes, the Pepsi or the Coke. We want to be one of those. And in order to do that, we have to be in front of people. Statistics show every 11 to 13 days. Okay. Who has an aha before we move on?
I really love all of it, Mindy. It's like doing the math, I think, is good. Sorry, I'm walking by somebody who's doing lawn. The math is really good, how we put our database and times it by the 0.07 to get what we could be potentially bringing home. It's really eye-opening. I like that.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. So let's talk about ROI. There's a predictable ROI. On average, it's 10 to 1. And for some KW agents, they have a 40 to 1 ratio, as like when possibly like consistently talking to their database and specifically like around your like sphere of influence. It is possible to see a higher ROI through like gaining repeat business and referral business. Each customer has 3 associated costs: the money to generate the lead, and we initially in our business we work off of trying to do the leads, finding our leads for free in the beginning, right? Converting the lead to a customer and converting that customer into a referral. All right. The costs associated with your database, there are 3 important considerations. The lowest lead cost is working with their SOI. This is why we start off getting into relationship with our SOI, because it's really free for the most part, you guys. It's free to talk to your SOI to get business out of your sphere of influence. Existing customers and people who know, like, and trust you. Remember, we talked about this earlier. People do business with people they know and like. When your database is maintained properly and continue to be developed, it will begin to produce leads in the form of repeat and referral business. Use command, you guys. Use command. Commit to some way of learning how to use command better in your business. Either it's every day or every single week. And then now the next thing we're going to do is talk about learning how to develop your database. Does anybody have any questions before we move on? Y'all are a very talkative group today. All right.
I was just about to ask if everybody could keep it down because I'm trying to keep up with you.
Thank you for participating today, Greg. Okay, so let's talk about this. There are 2 ways to feed the database. It's through prospecting and marketing. Have everybody feel comfortable with prospecting and marketing? Marketing requires money. It's passive, meaning that you're waiting for leads to find you. Okay, and then prospecting requires me or you, and it's proactive. It means that you are doing the groundwork to find the leads to put into your database. And one approach, most people don't want just one approach to growing their database. They want to have both prospecting and marketing based approaches to grow their database.
Yeah, prospecting requires some patience and some practice. It's not easy when you're first getting in there to do that. When you're cold calling or door knocking or whatever it is that you're using to do that prospecting, and sometimes it might cost a few bucks if you're cold calling and utilizing other services and stuff, but it's definitely an important factor.
Yes, absolutely.
It's free.
Yeah, prospecting is free. Prospecting can be free. It can be both. Prospecting could cost money and it can be free. But we always want to start with the free stuff. Like, let's do things that are free or the least amount of money. We want to lead with revenue. Okay, we want to segment our database into groups, right? Heather hinted to this earlier. People respond better when they get communication that reflects the matters that are important to them. So this is why we want to have conversations with our database, because we want to know what's important to the people in our database, because then we can create messaging and content and communication that is important and valuable to them. We want to come from contribution. In Command, your database is already segmented into 2 larger groups, leads and contacts. Everybody familiar with that? And if not, it's really easy to go figure out how to, or find like your tech trainer in your market center on how to make somebody a lead versus a contact. And then you can further segment it through tags, and we talked about that a little bit. And sometimes we get stuck on, we just have to tag them to real estate needs, when the reality is we can tag people to their hobbies and their likes and their interests, so that when that one event comes up and you're like, oh man, Bob would really love attending this event, or you can even search and say, who is into fishing? That fishing tournament's coming up, and I bet they would all love to have an invite to it or a reminder about it. It's just a way to be in relationship. So the more you tag your people in different ways, the better you can be in relationship with them and have more communication that's not just around real estate with them. And whenever possible, you want to make sure that the messages are relevant to the customer's likes and dislikes, personal interests, and any past interaction. Sometimes the easiest way to do that, you guys, is to do a little Facebook stalking. Do it all the time before I pick up the phone with my sphere of influence. Hey Sam, looks like you just went to Disney a few months ago. How was it since the pandemic, right? What was it like, you know, being there? Whatever that conversation is, it just being more personal really helps. Does anybody have another way that they tag their database that they feel everybody else on this call would benefit from?
Come on, y'all, share your secrets.
I don't have any here. I am excited. I am trying to still kind of learn my strategy on how I tag people, but I'm using different colors and create new descriptions. But I did learn, my aha moment was like Heather and Minnie, you said, like, put as many tags as you can on a person. So I'm definitely going to look into that. But other than that, yeah, that's my only takeaway. Just bunch of tags.
Yep. Not 1, not 2, 20.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I like that. I like
now. Yeah, you don't have to have 20 now. Start with 2.
Right.
And as your business grows and develops and the more conversations you have, add more tags. It doesn't, that's the thing. Don't get caught up in needing 20 tags now. Start with your 2 now, and that can continue to grow.
Yeah, I think it's important to maintain that, you know, through the contacts. I think that's the biggest challenge for me, is to make those adjustments when it's you know, at an appropriate time, because they may not be, you know, they're not going to have the same tags on them throughout. And so, you know, to be able to maintain that, especially if you have a lot of contacts, you know, I have to find myself to find a time in the system to make it work.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think, sorry.
Just start. I'll repeat myself a million times. Just start. Don't wait for it to be perfect. Just start. Heather,
Very true.
And I think, like, just to reiterate what you said, Mindy, I think that was really amazing. Like that you said, like fishing or, you know, crafting, crocheting, yarding, whatever people, because that's huge. Like the relationships is huge. Like when you can connect with people and really talk to them and know what they like. And then, like, I know something you do, Mindy, too, like on your social, like you put out events in our community to people. And I really appreciate that myself, because I'm like, oh, I didn't know that was going on. Like, I'm gonna go check that out. Like, it's super cool because it brings people to go, wow, Mindy has the information. You know what I mean?
I'm smiling. That's totally leveraged. I'm going to tell you, my virtual assistant's in the Philippines. He knows more about what's going on in Solano.
But it's cool because it pulls the people, like the people are like, dang, like I'm gonna go work with Mindy because she knows some secret stuff. You know what I mean? Like she has a secret sauce, you know.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So let's say you have the tags in there, you have all your database in. What is the best systems that can be used to, I guess, keep you on track for consistently and purposefully touching them on that regular basis? Like I know there's DTD2. I know there's also 8x8 and for your just mets, and then your, is it 33 or 36?
Mm-hmm. So we're about to talk about that. Yep. Okay. So everybody, like if is everybody familiar with how you can create tags? You can create a tag in a contact, a custom tag, trying to add contacts, and you can go in and do it through the command settings. Okay. Okay, so here are some examples of how, like the 19 for leads, the 19 to connect. Okay. These are the touches that are initially recommended, and for some people, and depending on the lead source, it might be different. So for probably like open house leads, things like this lead touch campaign makes sense. This lead campaign touch plan may not make sense for like a Facebook lead. It may after the original like 8x8, or sometimes the people have a higher frequency touch rate for online leads, and then they can be set on maybe more of like a nurturing plan. And then this is for like your contacts and your people connected by permission or because we have a relationship with them. So, and I know that we're like at the end of the call, but I want to talk a really bit about some of the things that we do on our team for touching people. We send out an event calendar at the beginning of the month on the 1st of every month for our county. We send on the 11th of the month, we send a newsletter out to our community, and then everybody on the 21st gets their neighborhood monthly nurture plus our DTD2. They get a calendar or a magazine every other month, and then we do an event every month on our team. So plus birthdays, home anniversaries, and holidays. So our database probably gets touched upwards of 70 times a year. And I want to tell you, I had to start with one thing, and that was the monthly neighborhood nurture. I had to start with one thing. I got my people in my database. I tagged some of them. I got as much information as I could. And I started with the monthly neighborhood nurture. And then I added a newsletter, and then I added the events. And so it just takes a little bit of time for the touches. And so that's why I'm saying just start with one thing, and then you can add to it. Okay. So we want to build a culture around testimonials and reviews. And so getting to know someone allows you to treat them like a friend. And most of the time when you teach new leads in your database and you're trying to get to know them and you get to know them, they do become friends. And one way to do that is through testimonials and reviews. Does everybody have a way of getting testimonials and reviews at the end?
Yes, just learned
Okay.
about that.
Awesome. Find a way, make sure, like, even pick one place, whether it's Facebook or Google or Yelp or whatever is important to you, or all three, and do like a contest or whatever it is, and work on getting some testimonials and reviews on people that have worked with you. Even affiliates, sometimes when you're first starting out, are really good to have some sort of testimonial or review about your professional character, I guess. And then you guys regularly prune and update your database. When you're going through your DTD2, look at your database health in the beginning and be like, okay, we are down on our addresses. So as I'm going through DTD2 this quarter, I really need to start to work on making sure I'm asking for addresses. Hey, we want to send you a magazine. Can I get your address so that we can make sure that it's going to the right place? Or hey, we send out some really fun cards or birthday cards, or hey, I wanted around their birthday, hey, I wanted to mail you guys your birthday card, or Susie her birthday card. Can I get the best mailing address for you? And then get rid of people. You guys, last weekend, you can ask Adriana, I think I deleted 130 people out of our database. Sometimes people just got to go. They don't fit your database. They're not appropriate in your database anymore. There's just sometimes things have to be cleaned out and pruned so that you can effectively communicate with the people that are going to do business with you. Okay, so now I want to recap and talk about ahas, and that's where you guys come into place. Let's talk about, how has your thinking changed? What about your mindset? What do you feel differently about today? What was meaningful about today? What are some behavior changes that will occur in your world? And what tools, models, or systems will you use moving forward?
I think for me, it's just making sure that I'm inputting in my database and like actually reaching out to them and making like contact events to keep them on like a monthly basis, like to touch them, because I keep forgetting to do that. And so like just having that constant reminder that your database is important is like motivating me again to reach out to the people and start doing what we should already be doing.
Yes. Yes.
Mindy, I appreciated you reminding to focus on one thing. Just focus on one type of touch, one consistent, purposeful type of touch, and then when ready, add another, and then add another. I appreciated that.
Yes, awesome. I might talk about the one thing a little bit, and you just got to start somewhere, and sometimes we have to earn the right to do other things, and that's okay. So just, I definitely, you guys, I struggled with my database, and this is something I talk about in our market center frequently, is that I wish I would have dove into my database from the very beginning. My business would be 2 times as big as it is today if I just focused on my database from the beginning.
Yeah, for me is in growing my database is also utilizing the features that Command has to offer. It's super powerful when you don't have to worry about drip campaigns like you can just let Command do it for you. Just making sure that you have the right contacts in the right spots and taking care of all that, whether it's just emailing or text messaging, just keeping you top of mind with those contacts. That's super important.
Yes, I am. You guys, I am so excited for you guys for you participated. This is I'm passionate about a database. I hope you guys could see that. It's really helped me and our team when we've been really effective in communicating with our database. And I'm going to go ahead and put my email in here. And if y'all have any questions or wanted any clarity around your database, please feel free to send me an email. Yeah, I'm just really excited. If you guys have questions, please let me know. If not, don't forget you guys need to do your script practice, your lead gen, update some contacts. And if you have the opportunity to contract, to practice some contracts or view properties, that's really going to help you guys get going and feel really confident in your new roles. Anybody else?
Mindy, I put the DTD2 schedule link in the chat.
Ooh, you are so awesome. I don't see it, but I'm sure.
Oh, you don't?
I may have just missed it because I
don't see it either.
Oh,
unless it was like way ahead of time. Was it a while ago or just now?
I got
it was when we were putting the ones in there.
Here, I got it.
Okay.
Okay. All right, y'all, use that link. I'll give you a few minutes to use that link so that you can download the DTD2 schedule. Thank you all for letting me get sick in the
Thank you, Mindy.
I'm so sorry that I got sick in the middle of class.
It's all good.
But I'm glad I made it through. I was a little nervous. I was like, oh gosh, who's gonna come in and take this from me? Oh, all right. Well, I appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
You guys, good luck. Send me an email if you have any questions, okay?
Sounds great.
Thanks,
Thank you
Mindy.
so much.
Have a good one.
Get well. Stay
Thank
safe.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye.